Okay, we are live one more time on YouTube. Welcome everyone once again. Today is a very powerful topic on decoding the secret of your thinking pattern. That's right. Law of attraction is all about understanding how your feelings, how your thoughts, how your beliefs and your actions work and the frequency within it. The most important secret is inside your subconscious mind, which we need to decode about how do we think? Why do we think the way we think and can we change that? It's possible to actually understand, to decode that thinking, and that's what today's topic is all about. How many of you would love to decode your mind, your thinking? Type in the word decode in the chat window now. I've got a lot of people right now on the comment section here that I can see, so quickly type in decode in the chat window now. Here we go. We have a very special guest today. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Mitesh Khatri. I and my wife, Indu Khatri, we are law of attraction coaches. Today, it's not just me alone. We have invited one of our dear friend, business partner, Mr. Imran Beg. He's the man who is the penmanship influencer in the world right now. He's the man who's the scientific expert on graphology, who teaches us how we can change our frequency. Yes, our feelings, our thoughts can be changed just by changing our handwriting, in the way you sign, in the way you write your letters. Anything and everything in your mind can be decoded just by looking at a particular person's paper. Let's invite Mr. Imran Beg. I'm super excited and super privileged to have him here. Everyone, please type in welcome and thank you to Mr. Imran Beg here. And here we are. Imran sir, please unmute yourself. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity and the privilege of having us here on YouTube with all the audience here. Thank you so much, Imran sir.
Pleasure is
Pleasure is
always
always
mine,
mine,
Mitezi.
Mitezi.
It's
It's
always
always
been
been
great to
great to
interact with
interact with
you and
you
your
and your
wonderful
wonderful
community who
community
are
who are
so
so
committed
committed
to
to
learn and
learn and
understand
understand
themselves. And
themselves. And
also,
also,
it's like
it's
I
like
can
I can
say it in a
say it in a
one
one
beautiful
beautiful
sentence. They
sentence.
are
They are
inspired
inspired
to
to
inspire
inspire
others.
others.
So
So
that's what
that's
it
what
is.
it is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Imran sir. So we'd love to know, Imran, when we talk about graphology, when we talk about penmanship. Yes, Ritesh. There's some echo. Okay, hold on. Let me see if we can cancel out that echo.
Can you?
Imran, say something because we could hear some echo on your side.
Okay, now
Now, all good, all good. All
all
right.
good. Yes.
So now, what we wanted to really understand from you was that when we say we can decode the thinking patterns, before we even decode, I'm really curious to understand, and I want to talk to the audience also about this. Is it really possible what a lot of your students say that when they simply read a particular person's handwriting, like a paragraph, they can decode things and they can read things which they've not been told yet? And can you give us an example? Is that really possible? And can you give us a couple of examples which are like mind blowing examples of how can you think, how can you know that about me? Can you give me a couple of such examples?
Surely. Mitezi, and this is for everybody. Handwriting is basically not your hand, which is actually writing onto the paper. It is actually your brain writing. The reason why we call it as handwriting is because majority of the population on the planet Earth uses hand as a medium to write, and that's why it's handwriting. But I'm sure you might have come across people who can write with their mouth, toes, because of them meeting with an accident, or it could also be because of certain situations and scenarios in their life. And what you need to really understand is the blueprint is here, and that's how when you write, we are actually able to identify your thinking pattern, your fears and defenses, your overall personality by accessing your subconscious mind through your letters.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense that we're able to actually, it's the brain writing, not the handwriting. Because if my brain was dead, my hand wouldn't be able to function, right? That makes so much sense. So,
Yes.
can you give me a couple of examples? One, if I'm being too greedy, maybe two examples of how you or maybe your students read something about somebody and you were able to detect something about their thinking which they had never told anybody. Something crazy.
Surely. See, one of the important aspects is people don't really understand who they are as a person. For example, if you're a parent, it's important that you need to understand how your child understands certain things and what is his process of making a decision and what is his ability of learning.
Right.
So, using handwriting analysis, we help parents, we help individuals first to understand themselves. What is your process of learning? For example, some of them learn more better when you demonstrate it. Some of them learn more better when you repeat it. Some
Yeah.
of us have our auditory senses high or visual senses high. So using handwriting analysis, I can definitely know I can connect with Mitesh more effectively if I can comprehend your speed of thought processing, your speed of understanding the conversation what we are having, and that
Right.
really makes people, it gives a good edge for them to make better decisions, close deals effectively, and many more things.
Wow. So recently, I remember talking to one of our students who's gone through a handwriting analysis course, and he said when he read through a person's paragraph, he was able to detect that this person has gone through some child abuse just by reading, and that person had not given any such indication. Is it really possible to look at such deep thinking and traumas and emotions and beliefs of a person?
Yeah. So to answer this in a more technical manner, when we are analyzing somebody's handwriting, we're basically decoding the neuro pathway, which is basically connected to your brain. So all the memories, what you have stored there in your subconscious mind, it tends to show up in the way you write. So the idea here is when I look into anybody's handwriting, I can identify certain situations which this person has undergone, not specifically in the part of the past or the future, but this person is holding on to it. So there's a bad memory which the other person is holding on to it and is not able to let go. And it could be anything which is connected to physical trauma. It could be an accident, it could be a sexual abuse, or any other aspect the person has undergone.
Wow. And when people get stuck with these kind of memories, we are saying that when we practice graphology or when we practice handwriting and we make small changes to our signature, small changes to the way we write things, we can actually change these memories or the impact of those memories on us.
Yeah, see, it's important to have a past as a reference. For example, when I make certain decisions today, I always reflect back in the past. Did I make the decision? What was my learning in my previous decisions which I made? And it's fair, I completely respect that. But what happens is that if you're actually referring too much into your past, you fail to make new decisions with new perspective, with a new vibration, a new frequency. And that's what happened. It's like driving the car and you're constantly looking back and you're trying to drive the car.
That's a
So that's where I say, we don't make you forget your past. We don't, but we keep the past where it belongs to. And we show you a new perspective how you can still have confidence to take new decisions today with a new frequency, and then create
wow.
results for yourself.
Definitely a new perspective. Everyone write down the word NP, new perspective. If you really got a new perspective about how we can let the past be in the past just by changing something in the handwriting and have a fresh perspective to the future. So it's actually possible. If I change something now, I can let the past be in the past. I can get out of that trauma and I can actually now look in the future. So my frequency goes up and now my affirmations are working and I'm actually attracting a wonderful life. Possible?
Beautifully said. Yes,
Wow.
completely.
I'm super excited to learn how we can do that. Are you going to reveal some secrets to us? Because now questions are coming about how do we decode? What is decode? So, is it possible to look at some examples? Are
Sure.
you going to have some secrets today?
I'm going to give you, multiple examples. Let us start with your signatures, everybody. If you have your signature recorded, if not, just grab a plain sheet of paper.
Okay.
Right now, what I have, and look at the way you sign. And if I show you, some of you might be signing it in such a way. Right now, let's not look at the letters. Let's not look at the way you starting it. Let's not look at the way you ending it. Only pay attention to your underline of your signature. Most of us have a habit of, for example, if this is my signature,
Right.
and you might have a habit of signing it, and then you actually come back and then you go back there. So can you see that there is a reference point where you actually go and then come back again? So anything which is actually going and coming back, so that means this talks about a lot of references of the past. So you did a partnership business in the past, it did not go well, and you don't have that courage to do another type of a partnership business in the future because you're always so strongly connected. Yaar, pehle baar bhi kiya tha and it did not work out. I failed in a relationship, that's why I don't have courage to go into a new relationship. I failed in my first attempt or second attempt of exam, so I don't think so I'm able to have a second attempt or the fresh attempt to do it. So you tend to get stuck there. So it's good to have a past references because that's where your experience is coming from, that's where your maturity is coming from. But today who you are is a much more matured person. So I learned this beautifully from my teacher. I said that stop evaluating your past mistakes with your present maturity, because if you had this maturity in the past, you'd have not committed that mistake, right? So we
Wow.
need to let go and outgrow ourselves from the past, which is beautiful, which is right in its own way. But give yourself a space to explore.
Wow. This is just amazing. So, if we had to look at one or two things that our team is going to learn today in the next 10 minutes, what would they learn and what would they take away?
Yeah, my focus will be see, one of the best education anybody can have is education of self. The problem with most of us is that we don't understand what is our pattern of making a decision. How do you learn anything? How do you comprehend information when you interact with people or your own self when you're learning something? So today I want to show you, one specific letter. And before I do that, caution: the way my approach towards handwriting analysis is not match the following. So I'm not saying that, okay, like this is equal to that, like this is equal to, no. We come from a larger perspective of understanding different strokes. For us, a letter is not a letter, it's a combination of lines, and we have a deeper understanding. But just for the sake of you all having a better understanding, I'm going to take that step, give you on that letter perspective, and please look into your handwriting or your signature, and let's focus on the letter M.
Sure, definitely. So let's do that. I'm going to put you on the screen where we can see your paper. And do you want to show us what you mean?
Yes, please. So, if you really look at, if you have your handwriting sample handy, or if you have any memory of how you write your letter M's and N's, so now let's focus on the first element of your M. So, everybody, look at your M, and this time when you're looking at the letter M, look at the top formation of your letter M. So, we are looking for the round or the flat formation of the letter M's and N's. So if you're writing your N, or even if you're writing your H, if your H is round like this or it is flat like this, so we are looking for an M's and N's like this. So we call you as a cumulative person. A
Okay.
cumulative person. So if you ask me, Imran, what are cumulative? There are many dimensions to it, but let me give you the three important ones.
Sure.
Cumulative people are the people who take their own time to learn things, but once they learn, they keep it for long. These are the people who can scare you with the type of information they remember, what they learned in fifth standard, their friend name in the school, in the primary, and many more things. Some of the memories they have are very very strong. So, but they take some time to understand, comprehend. But once they learn, they keep it for long. So that's a retention, amazing retention ability.
So you're saying
Number
it's
two,
round kind of a curvature that you showed us in the
yeah,
end.
it's a round formation on the or a flat M's and N's. Yeah.
Okay, so both, so round and flat, both
Yes.
something they take time to understand. The word comprehend basically means understand.
Yes.
But once they understand, you're saying then it remains with them forever or,
Yes.
or for a long period of time?
Long period. And they have a higher level of retention ability.
Wow, that is amazing. So all of you type in the chat window I if you have either a round or a flat M or N that you write on the top, something like what you see on the screen here. And are you this kind of a person where you may take time to understand something, but once you understand it, you retain that information for a long period of time? If yes, type in me in the chat window or I in the chat window. Yes, Imran sir, continue please.
And some of us have a complaint, Imran, I take a lot of time to learn. My speed is little slow. But what you need to really also understand is that you might be slow, but your retention power is amazing. So that's your blessing.
Wow, that is amazing. So I may be slow, but my retention, I need to look at my M's and N's. I'm definitely sure I'm here because I usually take a little time to understand things, but it's true. Then once I understand, I remember it for a long period of time. And I'm pretty sure I'm either a curve here or a flat there. Amazing. This is superb. Now, how do I use this information in my life?
Great. So when you look at anybody's M's and N's, especially, for example, if you're sitting down to create a deal out of a conversation or you're signing an agreement, if you can provide that person with more information, because one of the things what you need to really understand with people who are cumulative is that they are procedural in their approach towards making a decision. So when it comes to buying a car, their approach would be, which color, okay, which dealer, which variant. So they get onto, and for them it's like a building a brick wall, one brick at a time. So they may take a lot of time, but they'll definitely create a decision. So you need to give them a lot of insight, you need to give them a lot of information, one at a time. You don't have to burden them with an information, but providing them with more information, giving them different perspectives will help them to make a better decision.
Amazing. So if I was a doctor and if I knew this, now when I'm talking to a patient and explaining things instead of trying to go very jargonish about the situation that the patient may be going through, maybe I want to give them more detailed information and step by step because they will take time to understand now that I know this about just their handwriting, right?
Yes.
Now I know that once they understand, they'll retain this information. If
Yes.
I have to apply this in my relationship, let's say I'm talking to my wife, for example, and I'm 100% sure in case my wife's, Indu, do you think her M's and N's are curves? I don't know. I don't think so. But she understands things really, really fast. Maybe she comes into the second category that they're going to talk about. But if
Indeed.
if Indu was someone who had this kind of a M or a N, which is kind of a curve or a flat, how I can use this understanding as a relationship frequency is to give more information so that they can understand me better. Instead of losing patience, why didn't they understand my first statement? Is that
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
I,
very true. This is what happens. And sometimes, when you come across in a conversation, people might say something to you and you later on comprehend, यार उसने ऐसा बोला था, why did I not give it back to that person? Why did I not respond back immediately? Because the processing will take some time.
yes, actually, that does happen with me sometimes. And now I'm 100% sure I have a curve or a flat because after the conflict or a conversation is done, I feel, yeah, I should have said this, I should have said that, because later I understand what they were really trying to say. How many people are able to relate with this? Type in the word R in the chat window if you can relate either with yourself or you know someone like this who gathers information a little slow. And now that you know this either about yourself or others, you can relate to people better. And as a result of that, have better relationships, better understanding. And as a better result of that, maybe even make more money in your deals and your business conversations. That is just amazing level of applications, Imran sir. Thank you so much. This is beautiful understanding. What
Thank you.
else can we do this with?
Yeah, this is one category of M, and I can go on giving more insight into it. What I shared with you is only one aspect of being a cumulative person. And there's one more good news about people who write like this, but let's go to the next category because I'm sure other members are looking. Imran, I don't write like this. I do have another style of writing M's and N. So let's
Yeah,
also cater to them.
please.
Going back to my screen here,
You can
now
see.
we're going to stick to letter M again, but this time what we're looking at is we are looking for a V formation when you're writing your M's and N's. So can you see there's a V formation happening here? I'm talking about this V formation in your M's and N's. Sometimes it also shows up in your letter H. So we are right now not looking at the top of the M's and N's. We're looking at the V formations happening here. And we call these people as analytical thinker.
Wow.
So the one good news about analytical people is that they have an eye for details. They see things which no other people can see it. They are very good with numbers. They are very good at comprehending things. And we basically look at them as amazing executives because they make amazing decisions because they have this ability of weighing facts and figures before they say an yes or a no. For example, if Mitesh has a analytical approach towards anything that he comes across, in his mind, he has this beautiful way of comprehending. If I say no, what are the pros and cons? If I say yes, what are the pros and cons? And this is how you operate your life.
So you're saying people who have kind of a V, either in the M or the N also, or
Yes,
but sticking to M right now,
yes.
right?
M, N, and H. Anything which has a hump in the writing. Yes,
Right. So I'm just going to show that to people again. If there is a V formation in the way we are writing the M or the N or the H, and if there
yes,
is a hump over there, kind of a V formation that comes up, it means
yes.
a logical person.
Yes. If you're meeting with this person, if you want to crack a deal with this person, you need to give him numbers, statistics. So you need to tell him, if you don't buy this, what will happen? Why you need to make a decision today. So if you're catering this type of information, this person will be in alignment with you, and that's how you can crack a deal.
Wow. So you're saying if I know myself better now that I'm a logical person, right? I can also use this understanding to deal with my relationships, right? Where instead of getting angry at people who are vague, maybe I can ask them examples saying, can you give me more logic? So that I can understand things better because I'm a logical person, for an example, and I would need more facts and figures. And instead of getting irritated at people why they are not giving me facts, maybe I can ask for it.
Surely, and this can actually safeguard because sometimes it might also lead to a argument because you tend to seem to be a person who are asking too many questions. No, you're not asking too many questions. You're basically trying to satisfy your logical thinking. And once you get your logical right, I'm completely with you. I'm sold completely, and that's how it happens. And most of the people don't have enough patience to deal with people who are analytical because they're always asking questions. And you're like, when you go to buy a car, which is a brand new one, imagine you asking a question: what is the resale value of this car?
Hmm.
Right? And you might when actually look at this person, why is he even talking about resale even without before even buying? But look at the logical aspect he's going to be operating his life and making decisions there.
Wow, I now remember Indu because she's definitely more logical. And sometimes when we are talking about creativity, she's already talking about, so what if something goes wrong in this project? Okay, so she's not really being skeptical, she's not really being negative. It's just that her analytical mind has to think about all the pros and cons. Whereas I'm just looking at one track, which is just spontaneity or creativity in this point of time.
Yeah.
Wow, this is amazing. Let's see how many people in the audience can relate with that. How many of you can relate with that? Type in me in the chat window. Oh, there are some people already typing in me. Hima's typing in very true. They're saying me. This is amazing. So I'm glad that some people are able to relate with this. Can you give me a few more applications about how I can take this in my life and apply this? Whether it's the first style of person I am, which is I understand slow but retain for longer, or I understand fast and then even retain longer. But how do I apply both these thinking to upgrade my frequency, achieve more health, relationship, career, and goals?
Yeah. If you really look at the cumulative person, the first category which I showed, any new opportunity comes to you, you tend to take so much of time to grab that opportunity that the opportunity already passes by and you're still in the process of making a decision because you have your approach towards procedural approach towards making a decision. So that's something which you need to really work towards grabbing that opportunity because you end up making too much of process there. Yes.
Wow. So you're saying somewhere my frequency is such that if I there's an opportunity that comes, but I analyze, but I take so much time to comprehend in your word, understand it, that sometimes by the time I understand, the opportunity is gone,
Yes.
and kind of sabotaged my own success in my language.
Yeah.
Whoa, how many of you can relate with that? Type an I in the chat window if you've experienced that. Some opportunity comes to you, but because you're the first category person, you've kind of sabotaged your own success. Not consciously, but neurologically, because you take time to understand that opportunity. By the time you've understood, it's gone. Wow, this is amazing. So this is the problem part. This is beautiful. But can I change this now?
Definitely yes. And what I also want people to understand is your thinking pattern is like a processor of your computer. So this is the processor which you have been made up of. So
Right.
rather than changing the processors, you need to really look at how you can feed information in the appropriate manner so that the processor is well equipped and helps you to deliver what is required to be done.
Wow. Okay. So it's possible to some extent.
Definitely, yes, it's possible.
Wow, this is just amazing. Anything else that you would like to share with us? Because I think I'm all yours. How many of you are loving this? Please type in loving it in the chat window. I think I can go on and on with the answer, but anything more you would like to share?
Yeah, I want to add up one more thing about the second category of people, which we call it as analytical thinkers. The good news about analytical thinkers is that they analyze it, so they make well considered decisions, but those decisions are going to land up bad for people. So that means it's a beautiful decision, but bad for people because people don't get your perspective, the way you're thinking, the way you're far, looking at into far into the future. Not
Mhm.
other person is able to create. So it's going to be an amazing decision, but you need to learn an ability to communicate the decision to people that why you actually decided that because not everybody has an ability to analyze it the way you do it.
Wow. So my entire life is about communication, right? Like how I communicate to my wife, my children, my father, my mother, my business people, my partners, everything. Like my life is communication. And if I don't know how to communicate to people, they may actually misunderstand me, is what you're saying.
Sure. Yeah, it's like I know your team leader coming and telling you, no, this weekend we're going to be working.
Correct.
That's a decision, but it is coming out of a certain evaluation the team leader did. But the
Correct.
person who's at the receiving end, it's like, why are we working on a weekend? He's not able to comprehend that. Okay, why is there is a GST on this thing? Can you see that GST was a very beautiful decision, but the way it was communicated to people, we still sometimes think, why are we paying so much of taxes? Why are we think like it's a good decision, but bad for people. So can you see that if you have proper education about how you can use that as a credit, how you can actually use that in your business, that's what the idea is.
Amazing. So can I ask you some rapid fire questions, which I love to
Yeah,
do?
go
Did
yeah,
last time,
go ahead.
but I remember. So just looking at a person's handwriting, can I develop the skill to read a person's subconscious, conscious, understand their habits?
Yes, definitely. It's possible because sometimes I actually tell this to people. When I analyze somebody's handwriting, I actually understand more about them than what they know about themselves.
Oh,
Because what you know about yourself is only the conscious aspect of who you are as a person. And
got
subconsciously, only when you're put into a certain situations and scenarios, your best of your personality and your best of your ability tends to shows up. But I can decode that using handwriting.
wow, amazing. You can read more about a person than the person knows about oneself. This is
Yes.
powerful. How many of you would love to do that one day where you're able to read people much more than they know about themselves? Type an I in the chat window if you want that kind of a superpower. Second rapid fire question is not only can I understand, but can I help people change now?
that's something which I really propagate, because handwriting analysis is not just about identifying and analyzing people, but the science comes with a very beautiful gift called as Grapho Therapy, in which you systematically change your handwriting to influence your subconscious mind, and that's a beautiful aspect. I've seen many people able to influence their personality in a most positive manner.
Wow, this is amazing. So, is it possible that once I understand this better, I can actually improve my frequency? Because a lot of people here are part of the law of attraction community. They understand the word frequency. Is it possible that I change my handwriting and I can actually change my neurological frequency, how I feel, how I believe, and as a result, I attract better goals in my life?
Definitely, it's a 100% yes from my side, and that's what I'm here to share with you all. Because handwriting analysis is not about analyzing others, but let us also start with your own self first and get your frequency right. And one of the best ways of changing your handwriting to set your frequency right is your self-esteem. How you look at yourself, what is the level of confidence you have, and why are you not able to take certain steps in your life or decisions in your life and turn around your life, because you're not really looking at yourself the way you have to be. That's why you need somebody to push you to take actions, and only when you go when people push you, you go ahead, take action, and you create results, and then you say, yeah, if you're not pushed, I do not actually got the results. So you need to really work on all these things. Yeah.
Wow. Well, one of the reasons, Imran, I really partnered with you for law of attraction and handwriting, because I must tell you, we also work on self esteem, the deserving capacity, we call it in beliefs. And yet, it takes anything but like 1 to 2 months, sometimes even 3 months for people to just keep doing affirmation, affirmation, affirmation. And still, sometimes people don't see results. But what I saw in your method was when people change their handwriting, they do grapho therapy, as the word that you use, people are able to change their self-esteem and upgrade their frequency in literally 21 days to 30 days, right? Am I right about that
Yes,
science?
it is possible. Yes, it is possible. Yes.
Wow, this is just amazing. So, everyone, are you loving it? Do you want more? Type in more in the chat window if you want a little more, because I always want kind of information which can help me and help me help other people more to improve their frequency. This is just amazing. So, before we leave, I know it's time, we've taken more than enough time of yours, answer. Would it be possible that we share the gift that we discussed for the audience here?
Yeah, that will be amazing, because it's a science which deserves to be learned and understood, and it's a beautiful gift you can give it to your own self. Because remember, the best of education is education of your own self. And if handwriting analysis could be a beautiful, more accurate, faster way of reaching there, why not? Please go
Wow.
ahead.
Amazing. So before I show that link to everyone, I want all of you to know that Imran sir has been gracious enough to give us the gift. There are two gifts he's extending to us, which is only for today. Gift number one is he's giving us the access to the lesson number one of his graphotherapy course, of his handwriting analysis course, which gives you more ability of understanding all these things a little more in detail. It's going to be what, like 90 minutes of the first lesson,
Yes,
right?
and I'm going to be exclusively talking more about signatures, because I know some of you might be sitting there, Imran. I normally don't write enough more nowadays, but you might be signing, or if you've not been doing that, and if you're sitting there and thinking, Imran, who writes nowadays? Do watch my lesson number one, because that's where I'm going to break all the misunderstandings you have about your writing. And if you're still not really convinced about handwriting, personality, frequency change, you need to attend my first class, which is the lesson number one, which is coming to you as a gift, because I'm answering everything related to the lines, the strokes, the signatures, and more than 10 different types of signatures.
Wow, more than 10 different types of signature. Everyone type in gift, gift, gift in the chat window if you love gifts. I love gifts. So the first gift you're getting from his is the lesson number one. At the end of lesson number one, I got amazed because then he gives us the opportunity to join his entire complete course on handwriting analysis, where the promise is that we will be able to not only understand ourselves, but we'll be able to understand other people after this course itself. Am I right? That's the promise.
That's the entire idea about it. Once you understand your own self, now it's time to understand people around you, especially people who you exist with. So it's important that you need to have that education also, because people love to be dealt the way they want to be dealt. And if you can actually master this, your relationship is going to get
Hmm.
in the right frequency there.
People love to be dealt the way they love to be dealt. This is just a gem statement. Amazing. Thank you so much. So that's gift number one. How many of you are loving that lesson number one, completely free of the complete course, and then at the end of that lesson one you get an opportunity to upgrade to the whole course if you would love to. And if you have this inner calling that this is something I want to master, at the end of that lesson you have that opportunity. The second gift that you're getting is something very, very powerful. tomorrow we are having a graduation ceremony of all the students of Imran sir and all the people who've already gone through graphotherapy, the level 1 course, and what results they have got in their life, how their self-esteem has gone up by practicing graphotherapy, how they're able to understand other people's handwriting, whether it's their wife, their parents, how maybe some of them even made some money out of it. In that graduation ceremony, you're going to meet all those people and go through results. So those of you who are from the second category, right, the logical, the pros and cons, you would love to go through the graduation ceremony tomorrow, because your mind would always say, yeah, all this sounds good, but is it true? Like, is there some proof around it? I invite you, and Imran sir invites you for this special opportunity called the graduation ceremony, which is happening tomorrow. This is a one-time opportunity because this is only for the graduates who've completed the level 1 course. And there's not going to be any recording, there's not going to be any sharing of that video later. So please make sure that if you're getting this gift today, take complete advantage of this. And the link of that I'm going to show you in the chat on the screen also and in the chat window right now. But before that, Imran sir, you want to tell us a little about who we are going to meet in the graduation ceremony and what's going to be the experience of it?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, and you should be definitely being there because you will be meeting more than 370 plus students who already completed the program just in the last couple of months, and they will be sharing their breakthrough results on a personal level. What is the breakthrough they created? How they're not only able to help themselves, how they're able to help others, and how they're also not able to add value to people's life and also generate revenue for themselves. So all this and many more things tomorrow.
My God. So we're actually going to meet students who've done this. We're actually going to meet students who's been able to create these kind of results that we are talking about. And
Yes.
then people who are whether cumulative or logical thinkers can really make that decision saying, this is something I really want to master in my life. This is
Yes.
amazing opportunity. Thank you so much, guys. The link is on my screen right now. You can see the first link that says first lesson free. It says miteshkhatri.com/HF. That stands for handwriting frequency. The second is the link where it's in orange. It says graduation day miteshkhatri.com/HFG handwriting frequency graduation. Remember, the graduation ceremony is something which is limited only for tomorrow. Once this goes, the live session goes, there's no recording because it's only for the graduate students. So they will get the recording, but most of us who are as guests will not be getting that recording. So do not miss this opportunity. How many of you promise to take advantage of both these gifts? And you're making yourself a promise that today you will complete the first lesson and tomorrow you will definitely attend the graduation ceremony. If yes, type in IP, I promise. In fact, type in IP2. IP2 means you're giving me both the promises. First promise is to complete first lesson today. Second promise is to attend the graduation ceremony today, tomorrow, and not lose out on this opportunity. Perfect. Thank you so much, Imran. This has been an amazing journey talking to you. And we can go on and on and on with you. But any last message that you would like to give our audience?
uh, I always, emphasize on making people come back to writing. Whether you understand analysis, whether you are able to decode people around you, my only invitation is: can you come back to writing? Start writing affirmations on a regular basis. Make your to-do list, write down your goals. Give power to your words by writing it them down onto the paper. And there is a beautiful connection. The sync between the body and the mind is something which you can develop by writing. And if you really want to do this in a more systematic manner and want to understand the science behind this, do attend the program which we have given to you as an access as a lesson number one, and you'll simply be blown away. I'm going to give you all the possible logical explanation why handwriting is something which you need to really go back to.
Absolutely. I can personally vouch for this, guys. You will be blown away. I promise you that. So when you attend, make sure that you're attending with your family because believe me, you'll regret it later. When I saw this for the first time, I told Indu, I said, we should watch this together. It took me 3 days to convince her, and then finally we sat together and we watched it again. So best is the first time you see it, get your friends, get your family, watch it together. Okay. Thank you so much, Imran. I know it's been more time than we took promise from you for, but thank you so much. Looking forward to see you in the graduation ceremony tomorrow. Everyone type in, as we always do for all our audience, all our guest speakers and VIP speakers, please say love you and thank you to Imran sir for being with us and adding so much
Thank
value
you.
in our life in just last 30 minutes. This has been power packed, exciting, and so many gifts. Thank you so much. Looking forward
Thank
to
you.
it. And those of you who want to make sure that maybe if we tomorrow stream, we're still discussing whether we can do that. We probably might stream the entire graduation ceremony on YouTube live tomorrow. If you would love to see it, make sure that you like, subscribe the channel right now. And there's the moment you subscribe the channel, you'll see a bell icon. Click on the bell icon because only then you will get the notification for tomorrow's graduation ceremony in case we are streaming it live tomorrow. Okay. Thank you very much, Imran sir. Again, see you soon in the graduation ceremony. Everyone, Say bye to Imran sir and love you to him and thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.